this is Mel. Stay tuned and find out how to rock your au pair year. Often au pairs talk about if they can really be part of a host family, if this family can really be like their second family. And this is what I would like to talk about today. If you arrive in a new country, you are all by yourself, obviously this can be very daunting. And you don't want to arrive and find yourself in a situation where you're in a family that you don't get along with, that you feel uncomfortable with, and that you're basically going to have a horrible au pair experience. That would be the worst. So that's exactly what I'm talking about today. How can you turn your family into your second family? Well, first of all, it's very important to start at the very beginning. When you're in your home country and basically you have all of the opportunities open. So first of all, you need to decide, do I want to be part of the family or would I like to be more of an employee? Because that's okay, that's up to you. Some au pairs like to be more like an employee, some au pairs really want this host family to be like their family. So that's the first thing you need to decide. So if you're the kind of girl who wants to have another family in another country, you first of all need to find a family who wants the same. So when you go into the interview process, you need to ask questions to find out whether this family is going to want that. Does this family want to have an au pair that is part of the family? Or is this a really busy family who prefers someone who just comes in and does the hours and then is out in their free time? So there's also different personalities, different au pairs, different families. So this is the first thing that I'm talking about, that you just need to find the right match for yourself. And then once you find the right match for yourself, it is very important that when you arrive, you make the most of this first few days. Actually, I mean, obviously you want to make the most of your whole au pair time, but it is also very, very important to make the most of those first few days. When you arrive, that's when you have a chance to really make a good first impression and get to know the family. And many families will take more time in the very beginning. Obviously not all families, but a lot of families will actually take some time off, or maybe you arrive on a weekend, or maybe the mom's home for the first few days, or the dad or the grandparents. And this is the time to ask a lot of questions. And also the first few weekends, if the family asks you, do you want to join us? This is a very good time to say yes. You don't have to spend every single weekend of your au pair time with the family, but especially in the very beginning, if you want to have a good relationship with this family, and if you want to have this family maybe even as your second family, then it's very important that you spend those first few days or weeks, it's really up to you, but the beginning, you spend time with them and you really get to know them. Another thing I would like to talk about is that all through your year or through your au pair time, however long you're planning to be an au pair, you need to make sure that you have very good communication. So you really want to make sure that if something is bothering you, or if something is wrong, or even if it's just something you don't know, that you always ask heaps of questions. And the other thing that is very important is that you bring these things up in a very, very positive way, because how you say things is really important. So one tip that I could give you in the beginning of your au pair time, you could, for example, say to the family, you know, why don't we have one time a week that we sit together and we just talk about the week? That way, if something comes up during the year, you don't really feel like you need to say, oh, today I really need to talk to you, or do you have some time? Because if you just have this time every single week to talk about the week, about big things and little things, funny things, not so funny things, then that's just a very, very good way to start out with very good communication. Also, it is very important to remember that being a part of a family is a two-way street. You cannot expect the family to always come up with all the offers. So you have to think about, okay, if I want to be a family member, how does a family member act? That's just what you need to think about. And then what if the family asks you, for example, do you want to spend the weekend with us? And this is the weekend that you already have other plans. Then say something like, well, I would be really delighted to spend the weekend with you, but I've already made other plans. But next time, please ask me again. This type of communication is very important, because if you only say no, or if you say no a lot of times in a row, that gives the family the impression that you don't really want to spend time with them, even if you do. So it's very important to say, I appreciate that you want to take me out. I appreciate that you want to make me part of this family, but this weekend I'm doing this and this, or this is not really the kind of activity that I like so much, but please ask me again in the future, because just because I'm saying no now does not mean that this is a no in the future, or this is always a no. So this type of communication is very important. The other thing that I would really like to give you your way if you're about to start your au pair journey is that don't arrive with a bag of expectations. If you arrive with a bag of expectations and you think, yep, I found the perfect family, this is going to be my second home, I'm going to be in touch with them forever, these are the type of expectations you really shouldn't have. You are building up a lot in your mind if you have all of these expectations. So a better way to arrive is, yes, think very positively of the family. Obviously you are, otherwise you wouldn't have chosen them. But when you arrive, take things step by step. Get to know them step by step. Go the ups and downs with this family and just see what you are at the end of the journey. So this is just a very natural development. I mean, if you meet someone that you think could be your friend, they're not your friend on the first day, are they? So you need to get to know them. And it's exactly the same with the host family. You need to arrive and just start the journey and just see what happens and just go with the flow and be very positive about it. And then everything will be fine.